Howdy everyone, Cowy, your average sim racer here. Yes, I know you've been hassling me for a while, so here it is. This is my tour of my sim rig. You can see my room that I've got it in with my amp and all my Star Wars pictures and my couch. Anyway, here's the rig in all its glory. Running a super cheap auto Asus 1000 cape, and that's really just to hide all the speaker wires and stuff like that. I will just flick out the lights for a moment so you can see it as it is when I'm racing. Alright. Now at the moment I've just got another light on for the stream, because tonight's my stream. I think we're at Donington Park this week, so it should be a good race tonight, hopefully. Anyway, so here's a quick look. I've got my laptop that I use to do my streaming over here, so I do use it to sort of PC setup for my streaming, and that's just to take as much load off the main PC as I can. Now, I suppose you want the details of the rig itself, so I'm running Gigabyte 32-inch curved screens. Don't know if I would have chose curved, again, knowing what I know now. It does sort of, you know, the door has that little bit of rounded look to it when you're sitting in the car. As you can sort of see it there. But apart from that, I'm still really happy with these screens. They're 1440p, 1 millisecond response, 165 hertz, I think. And yeah, it just looks amazing. Now you can see I've also got the Asus Bezel-Free kits. Now being 32-inch, you can't sort of use the clips that come with the kit. But I've just, you know, effectively followed Race Beyond Matter idea of sort of, you know, the way he connected the tape, and I've just got them sort of taped on the top and bottom like that. And so far I've only done that once, and I haven't had to redo it again, so it's really good at the moment. Now as you can see, my sort of field of view is 189 degrees, I think, but I absolutely love it, you know, even to the point that I've sort of shown a little bit of the headrest down there. Now as for the actual hardware on the rig, the wheel is a Cube Controls OMP GT wheel that I got from Demon Tweaks in the UK, and combined with that I got a SemiCube 2 Pro motor, and you can see there that I've got the motor tucked in behind the screen, and I'm running one of the SimCore extensions. I think I'm running a 75mm extension at the moment. I think I might get the longer one just to see if I can bring the wheel a bit further out, so I'm finding that the seat's right at the edge of its limit for my sitting position. Now as for the other hardware, over here I've got my shifters. So I've got a, recently, if you guys follow the channel, you'll know that I picked up the ProSim Quaif H-pattern shifter, and it is absolute weapon. It's awesome, I love it. I've also got the Jinx full combo brake bias and the front and rear roll bars shifter, and that's another awesome bit of kit made here in Brisbane. Great piece of kit. And as you can see, I can fit an Elgato Stream Deck actually in the gap there, and that Stream Deck is in solid, so it's working really good. I'm also running the Hooked-Spelt handbrake. That's another fairly new addition. I think I bought it a couple of months ago, and love that. Just that using a load cell gives it that progressive feel. So I find that when I was doing some rallycross a few weeks ago, you know, there was parts where I knew how much handbrake I needed to use, and with some of those cheaper handbrakes you don't get that tactile feeling of it being stronger the more you pull on it. Right, so now as for the gauges, I'm running the simprojects.com ecosystem. So I think the program's called Sim Dash. He's a guy in the UK, and you can buy various sort of boards and you can get the gauges through his site as well. But I started with the Taco, and I managed to find someone local who was selling the gear indicator as well as the speedo. The speedo's not on at the moment because the car's not moving, but it does work. Yeah, so I just ended up in this ecosystem, and then I decided to actually contact him and buy the Pro Gauge board so that I could run my 3 boost gauge, water temperature and oil pressure. And I find that at the moment I've got a problem with the boost gauge. It's going sort of down instead of up, so it's sort of moving in the wrong direction. But I just don't find I'm driving that many cars with turbos and that it worries me that much. But in a race, you know, being able to see the water temperature or your oil pressure after you've sort of nosedived the car into a wall can sometimes maybe mean you can save it from blowing up. And that has worked a couple of times. Alrighty, I suppose the next thing to show you is my pedal bay. Now, my seating position is pretty much more a saloon sort of seating position rather than a race one. I've found that at the moment, I'll show you here, but you can see that I'm using a block of wood to basically use car mounts to mount the seat. And I mean, it's solid as, it doesn't move anywhere. But I suppose it doesn't look the greatest, but again, for me, it was all about, you know, making it sort of functional rather than necessarily having the rig look as slick as it could. For me, if I had the parts here at home and I could do it and get it happening quickly, bang, I did it. Now, as for the actual frame, it's an 80/20 custom rig that I bought off a guy down in the south of Brisbane. The way he's done the sort of wheel deck is he's sort of, you know, cut it so that it's almost picture frame like, I suppose, you know, for downward pressure. Though I do find I've got these sort of L bracket T-nuts in there that you can tighten up and that, but they do tend to loosen up a bit, so you just got to keep tightening it a bit. You see a couple more Logitech speakers in there. Next to my button box, now it was just, again, another product I bought off a guy local that's only about 5-10 k's away, and he was making these. I think that's the first one that he made to sell. And yeah, look, a couple of times some of the buttons have played up on it, and all I do is just take off the face and, you know, reconnect the wires, solder it, and it's worked again. It seems to be going great. Going down on now, what I've actually done with my pedals is I have inverted them, as you can see there, sort of the way I've done it, and basically also put that on a set of seat rails. Managed to actually be able to bolt, run some bolts into the T-nuts there so that they connect. And yeah, just running another set of seat rails with a board on it, and then I've created sort of some hinges at the back of the rig to be able to sort of run a board up at a 45-degree angle so I can invert the pedals. Now my pedals are made by a guy in France, Sfx Pedals. They're very similar to the Who Can Spell Sprint. The brake is a lot stiffer. It's something that I've got used to and sort of helps me, but the brake doesn't sort of have quite the range that I think the Who Can Spelts offer in, you know, the way you can set the pedal up, but they do work really good. The accelerator is fairly stiff, but you know, again, as I said, I'm used to it by now. Little handle that I've bolted on the rig so that people don't pull on my wheel when they slide the seat up. I mean, the one thing I wanted to try and do with the rig was have it so that, you know, just about anyone could race it. So I can get my young nieces and nephews, they can jump in the rig and pull the pedals all the way forward and the seat all the way forward and still be able to race. Obviously, we put the safety mode on so they don't get more than 4 Newton meters of torque, because the wheel can put out 25. What else left there is to show you guys. As you can see, I'm sort of running some lights in the pedal bay. So I just found some LED strip lights. I think they're 2 groups of 2, and I'm running 2 in the pedal bay, and then I'm running 1 sort of underneath the tacho and the gear indicator, so that shines on the button box, and the other one we're running sort of on a board that is underneath, so it shines on sort of the shifter, and it shines up underneath through the jinx, and it's really cool because of that nice green look. Alright guys, well, apart from that, I don't know if there's anything else to show. I suppose I could show you around the back of the rig. So you'll see I'm using the Vario VESA mounts to connect the monitors, and they are awesome. Just gives you that fine sort of tuning that you can do to really get your field of view set up. As you can see, there's my PC. One of my fans isn't spinning at the moment. I've got to get an adapter to increase that. I think I'm running a Ryzen 7 6800X CPU and a 6800 XT graphics card. As you can see, there's quite a bit of cable spaghetti at the back here. I think at the current count, I've got 14 USBs plugged into this beast, so you can sort of set up the Pro gauge, and it can be your rev shifter, your taco, your speedo and all that on just the one board, but I had all these all separate ones first, and I've sort of incorporated them into my system, so I haven't felt the need to streamline it just to save a couple of USB slots. Just a makeshift sort of bracket there to hold that fourth screen. As you can see, I've got a rope attached to it in case anything ever does break, or at least so you can hook it back when you want to adjust things. Made myself a little cup holder. I know I can buy the plastic ones, but I just got the case of an expensive Scotch bottle and cut it up to make that work, and that seems to work fine. You can see a little look at the way I've sort of done the bracket at the back there for the angle, and I've got it sort of pulled down against a board. Now the only issue I do have with my pedal deck is there's a slight bit of flex because you're using a seat rail, so it moves a couple of mil. Now I'm used to it. Again, because you're sitting in a saloon sort of position, I'll move back to the front. You're sitting in the saloon position, you're pushing sort of down on the pedals anyway, so you know, you don't really feel that movement in it, but I know the purists would probably comment on that. Anyway guys, I think that's pretty much basically everything to show you with my rig. I will try and list some of the items that I've got down in the comments so that you can see that. But yeah, I've you know, built this up over a couple of years now. I started with a cheap G27 sort of setup, and that a guy had built his own frame for it and all that, and I was quite happy with that. But when I jumped into iRacing, that's when the bug hit me, and started talking to the past guys, and they all talked about direct drive and load cell pedals, and I went down that road myself. Well, anyway guys, there it is, my rig, and I'll talk to some of you tonight when I get into my stream at Donington. But otherwise, this is Cowy, your average sim racer, signing off, and we'll see you next time.